For me, it's not that I know what I'm talking about or what I don't know if I'm talking about it. It's that I don't understand how people don't follow human attention. Human attention is the asset. To me, to hit something very much at home for this group, people ask me all the time, what if something gets banned? What if something changes? Vine used to be big, then it got bought. I'm always like, then the attention's gonna go somewhere. If all of social media disappears off the face of the earth tomorrow, that's an opportunity for me because 8 billion people are still gonna put their attention somewhere, whether that's connected TV, whether that's VR, AV, AR, VR, the attention's gonna go. I'll run print ads if the whole world's reading magazines. So I think this emotion, the emotion of holding up a distribution platform is a humongous vulnerability. I mean, I'm just prepared on an everyday basis to wake up and adjust to where humans have given their attention. And then I think it's very important, this is why I love this platform and always have been so pro this platform. I also think it's a good idea to bring value to people. I think what's really evolved in the death of television ads is that not only have we, over the last 2 decades, moved our attention to other places with the growth and expansion of the internet, but the value proposition of a commercial on television is zero. If the ads happen to be decent, somewhat interesting, somewhat intriguing, it could still be a much more viable medium than it is today. It's why the Super Bowl in America continues to work. But, they're just not. And by the way, most TikToks are not valuable either. It's just there's so many of them on a daily basis that even if 1% is good, that's a lot of good. Whereas television commercials are low. There's not so many of them, and none of them are good. And so I think we're gonna start seeing people realize no different than the thing I talked about 15 years ago, which was personal brand was gonna matter because reputation at scale matters. And all that social media has done is exposed and framed up and mapped what has always been important, which is your reputation matters. And if you can scale it, it matters even more. I think that ideas and creativity have always mattered. I think the process of getting to ideas, both in Madison Avenue and advertising and in the creative field, has actually become clunky, inefficient, and rewards a lot of people that don't bring any value to it. I think AI is going to have a very big impact on separating the people that have great ideas versus the ones that don't, and I think it's gonna be interesting to watch.
We've got a whole audience of people who obviously think of inspire creativity and bring joy as their mission in life, or at least in the workplace. So, taking a tangent from there, let's jump into digital entertainment, right? Because that's probably the most practical exemplification of creativity. People spend quite a bit of time on entertainment on platforms like TikTok. But what strikes me as counterintuitive is how e-commerce and online shopping is still pretty transactional and functional as an experience instead of an entertaining one. So how do you see shoppertainment unfolding?
Well, I think if I'm understanding your question in the way you're framing it, what your platform's evolving into and definitely doing in different parts of the world, because obviously the product plays differently in different parts of the world, is you're eliminating friction from what I think about shoppertainment. Shoppertainment has been going on forever. I started a wine show on YouTube on February 21st, 2006. Hello everyone and welcome to the first episode of Wine Library TV. That is 17 years ago. It was called shoppertainment. I took a camera, drank 4 bottles of wine in front of this new platform called YouTube that I thought was going to be big. And the entire purpose of it was, I want the wines that I think are good to sell at my dad's liquor store. And the way I did that, and talk about friction. Hey kids, back then, You took your video on YouTube and you took the embed code and you put it on your website. So people would go to winelibrarytv.com for an embedded YouTube video, and I had a WordPress plugin for comments, and that's how I built community. Tons of friction. But what I was able to do was, in the WordPress platform, I was able to link the products that were in the video to the website. And so you'd have to go to this website, so you didn't even find it in YouTube. You'd have to watch it, you'd have to then click on the desktop WordPress, the link to the website, then it would take you to the product page and you'd have to go and shop. A lot of friction. Here we are 17 years later, you can be in a platform like a TikTok. If the quality of the content is strong, you can get more awareness from one post than I was able to build in 6 years of real good work and hard work. And as you continue to develop the product, the frictionless nature of being able to buy the product that is in that video is gonna be one click, if that, right? So I think it's always been going on. You know, people have been buying clothes from a picture on Instagram for a long time. They see it, even if it wasn't tagged in the photo, they'd figure it out, they'd go to Google, they'd find it. This is why Google continues to get unlimited credit for last touch attribution for things that they haven't created. The intent was created on Instagram. Google gets the credit because it's a toll booth of transactions, at least in this generation, and so that's interesting. So what do I think? I think this has been going on. People looked at Vogue magazine in 1984 and saw an outfit that they were interested in and then drove to Saks Fifth Avenue and bought it, right? Shoppertainment. They would watch the Oscars and be inspired by a dress and buy the less expensive version of it at Neiman Marcus, 1979. So this has been going on. All the technology is doing now is creating less and less and less friction to do the thing that's always been going on. You're in market share grab mode right now. The company's growing right now. It's like hard to both be fully foot on the pedal, exploding, and finding, you know, the balance of that. It's hard. It's like there's, you know, everyone's trying to find this balance, but balance comes in the macro, not in the micro. You get balance in a 10-year window, not in like today. Like it's hard to find that because you're on the offense. Like it's just hard. It's hard when you're like in the zone of like gaining muscle and losing weight to also eat cake every day.
Well, hunger and hustle are part of the culture, so hopefully we won't be comfortable and complacent.
But to the point, on the counterpoint is, I do think you can be both hungry and hustle and be happy and content, but I don't think that comes from optics. I think it comes from how you treat each other. I don't think that comes from like, let's put a foosball table in the middle of the office, or let's create coffee talks with people when they come in. I think it only manifests in truth, not tactics. I think the way you'll get to that joy is if everyone's nice to each other, and if you have the ability and the conviction to fire the 3 people in here that are assholes. People are very confused. Joy doesn't come from 4-hour work weeks. Joy doesn't come from free donuts. Joy comes from firing dickheads.
That's going to be my new status on my Twitter.
And it's very hard because a lot of times people that are bringing the negativity to the organization are also top performers. Top performers come from 2 places. They're either driven by confidence or they're driven by insecurity. Most are driven by insecurity. Insecurity then starts to manifest in their day-to-day in suppressing others. This is where the world's got this very, I think it's very possible to have a work environment where people are going very hard, but are very happy. But I only think it comes from the way we treat each other internally. And so that's the thing to think about.